Hello everyone, I'm Extra Cheesy 87 and this is Let's Play Danganronpa Part 10. In the previous video we started our first clash trial, and now we're gonna hear what Celeste has to say about... It's only been like maybe 20 to 30 minutes since I recorded the last video. You know, I had to pause to eat real quick. But what is she telling us about? Okay, dorm name. Oh, yeah, we were talking about the switching rooms and who she could have possibly met with.
Sayaka and Makoto switched rooms, correct?
You're correct.
But in the note, the place they were asked to come to, it specifically says, my room.
Does it?
I see. So if someone read that note, then they would have gone to Sayaka's room.
Okay. Oh!
Exactly. The room that Makoto was staying in.
Yeah.
So in other words,
Oh.
even if someone did read the note and did what
I
it said,
saw.
they would not have any connection to what happened.
Okay.
It certainly would seem that way.
Yeah. But like, where's the contradiction there?
Sayaka
I don't-
and Makoto switched rooms, correct?
Okay.
But in the note, the place they were asked to come to, it specifically says, my room.
I see. So if someone read that note,
But I mean, the nameplate's
then
got.
they would have gone to Sayaka's room.
Uh-huh.
Exactly. The room that Makoto was
Is that? No, that's not it. Is that it? Apparently that's it. Okay.
The nameplates on Mai and Sayaka's rooms got switched.
They got switched?
That's right. The nameplates got switched, just like the rooms themselves. As a result, the nameplate on Sayaka's room actually had Makoto's name. And the nameplate on Makoto's room had Sayaka's.
Uh-huh.
So what you're saying is, the room Sayaka was staying in was actually marked as her room.
Then, if someone did do what the note said, they would end up at Makoto's room where Sayaka was.
Uh-huh.
Plus, their rooms are right next to each other, so switching the nameplates would be no problem. And the one who switched the names was... Well, of course it wasn't you, right, Makoto?
I mean, how do we know that someone switched them? What if they just like switch automatically because of like the rules of the game, right? Like maybe Monokuma just knows that we switched rooms and then switches them just to be cheeky.
Right?
I mean, a lot of shit happens here kind of automatically.
Okay, then who did it?
Well, the killer wasn't me. It could have been Sayaka, I guess.
I got it! Me and Sayaka were the only ones who ever knew about us switching rooms. So the only other person besides me who would even know to switch the nameplates was Sayaka.
You can also infer as much from her note.
Come see me in my room. I don't know, I'm pretty confused.
She specifically tells the reader to check the nameplate.
Yeah, she does say that.
She would only have written that if she knew the nameplates had been switched.
But it's just, why get them? The only thing I can think of is that if she was trying to frame us for the murder, like kill someone in our room, like invite someone, kill them, have it happen in our room, and then pretend, maybe like deny that we ever switched rooms or something like that.
But why would she switch them in the first place?
She wanted someone to come to the room she was in, and also hide the fact that it was Makoto's room.
What?
Inviting someone to your room, but not telling them you'd switched rooms. Why would anyone do that?
To understand that, we first need to understand what happened after she invited the person into the room. That's where the answer lies.
What happened then was probably whoever she invited over came in and attacked her.
Well, it's probably, I mean, it seems like it's kind of the opposite, that she attacked them.
We figured it out! We know who did it! Whoever she invited over is the culprit!
But we still don't know who it is, you goddamn idiot!
'Cause, I mean, why would she invite someone over that would potentially murder her, you know?
Sayaka fought with her killer there in the room, yes? Perhaps the answer to our previous question lies in that initial struggle.
Yes, I think you're right.
Then... we just have to figure out what happened during the fight, right?
That reminds me. There was a replica sword at the murder scene. Was that perhaps used during the fight?
We know Sayaka used it.
Oh yeah.
Sayaka.
What's the deal with that sword?
Sayaka suggested I should hold on to it. I thought it might come in handy if I had to defend myself. It seems pretty likely that the killer used it to break Sayaka's right wrist.
How the hell could you possibly know that's what broke her wrist?
Yeah, how could you know that? I mean, we know that... well, we don't know that it was broken with her wrist, but we have the little gold dust. So we know that she used it. But we don't necessarily know... I mean, I'm a little wary about clicking this, but it's the dust is what I'm getting at.
I got it!
Okay.
All you have to do is take a good look at her broken wrist, and it should become pretty clear. Right there where her wrist is all swollen. There's something glittery there.
Is that gold?
It sure is. Specifically, the gold coating from the replica sword. You barely have to touch that stuff, and it'll stick right to you. And there's some on her wrist because...
I got it! Because she got hit with the sword, right there on her wrist!
I see. And so the truth draws ever closer.
All right, then it's about time to solve this mystery.
Okay, so it's instead of her using it for self-defense, it's her using it, she's getting hit by it. I mean, it really does, like, I'm starting to think that Sayaka tried to kill someone and then got murdered herself in, like, self-defense. And what led to Sayaka's death? That's what we need to make clear. A bit more to learn, absolutely. At least I did learn that you can manipulate that with the scroll wheel, even though I just wish there was mouse control. But it is kind of weird how, like, the game has mouse control in certain sections, but it doesn't in others. I mean, I guess it's just because it's, like, the port is pretty basic, and it wasn't, it's, like, originally... What was this game originally on? Is this, like, a PSP game or something? Actually, I don't actually know what this was originally on. Was it, like, maybe a Vita? Or is it older than that? I really don't actually know now I think about it. Starting with the next event, you'll start loading multiple truth bullets into your truth cylinder. But just like with the weak spots, only one of those bullets can actually refute the proper statement. In other words, from here on out, you'll have to combine the right truth bullets with the right weak points to refute each statement. Okay? You can press the Q key. Press and release the Q key to cycle through each bullet, or you can use the mouse wheel. Okay, the mouse wheel makes more sense. Logic difficulty is set to kind. Fewer bullets will be loaded into the cylinder. For this purpose, logic difficulty will be set to mean. Well then, good luck and have fun. Okay. Okay, so sword sheath, kitchen knife set, replica sword. Okay. So knife set is what we have.
The culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first blow was dealt. A sword-based sneak attack.
Sword-based sneak attack.
And that's what broke Miss Maizono's wrist.
Uh-huh.
So she tried to fight back.
Okay.
She grabbed the kitchen knife she had hidden away.
Uh-huh.
But then the culprit took that from her too.
And they killed her with it.
And that's exactly what happened.
Now. So the thing about grabbing the knife set. So the sword was used first, and the knife came afterwards. Is that really the order of events? It seems to some unexplainable details.
When the
So
fighting
about...
broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword.
So there's the sheath you have to deal with first, right?
Was dealt. A sword-based sneak attack.
So it's...
And that's what broke Miss Maizono's wrist.
I feel...
So she tried to fight back. She grabbed the kitchen knife she had hidden away.
Nope, okay. I feel like it is the sheath, but maybe it's for the first part. Because, like, I feel like that's what they're getting at, is that you couldn't just grab the sword and start using it, right? Because it's got that big sheath on it.
Grabbed the sword, and that's when the first blow was dealt. A sword-based sneak attack.
Yeah, okay. We had the right idea, I just did it on the wrong one.
Actually, no. I don't think the fight started with the sword.
I think it was more that she started with the knife, and then they grabbed the sword, and that's why there was kind of a, you know, not knowing how to work it. Because wasn't there something that suggested that they, there was like some difficulties getting the sword out of the sheath or something?
Why not?
Because the sword sheath had been scratched.
That's what it was.
See? There's a gash in it. Like someone cut into it with something sharp.
Something sharp? You mean like the kitchen knife? That was the only sharp thing found at the scene.
Stop jumping ahead. Slow down and explain it so I get what the hell's going on.
Basically, Sayaka's a bad girl.
If the sword was used first, there wouldn't be any explanation for the scratch on the sheath. If you were going to attack with the sword, you'd take it out of the sheath first, right?
That's true. With the sheath on, it'd be heavy and bulky and useless as shit.
Okay, so how did the sheath get damaged?
If they got attacked with the kitchen knife, maybe they grabbed the sword as a defensive impulse.
Yeah.
In that situation, there wouldn't be any time to actually unsheath the sword.
So you're saying the sword was initially used to defend against an attack from the knife?
Which means whoever had the kitchen knife was the one who attacked first.
So, like, if this is a self-defense situation, how's that gonna work? Because it's not technically a murder then, right?
I think I get it. So here's how it all played out. The culprit came in, found the kitchen knife hidden there somewhere. Then they took the knife and attacked Sayaka before she knew what was happening. So she grabbed the sword to defend herself, but then the culprit took that from her too. Then, after they broke her wrist with the sword, they took the knife and finished it.
I think it's more likely Sayaka attacks them with the knife, they get the sword, use it to defend themselves, break her wrist, she drops the knife, goes to hide in the bathroom maybe, and then they finish her? Because like, I'm really like, I feel like they're just gonna flip it, right? Where it's actually Sayaka's the one that is the bad person.
Sorry, but I don't think Sayaka used the sword to defend herself.
What? How the hell can you not think that?
Because she never held the sword at all. There's a certain part of her body that makes this clear.
Her, broken wrist? Her palms.
I got it! You're talking about her palms, right?
They were completely clean.
The palms of her hands were perfectly clean, so I don't think she ever picked up the sword.
How can you know that just by looking at her palms?
Because the sword's a piece of shit.
Like I said before, the gold coating on that sword comes right off. All you have to do is touch it. In fact, if you look, you'll notice that a lot of the gold has already come off the handle. It's safe to assume that's because whoever used the sword got some of it on their hands. There's really no way she could have picked it up and come away completely clean.
Maybe she washed her hands after she escaped into the bathroom.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Sorry, but I don't think so.
Why do you say that? Is it because you think I'm ugly?
Yes, that's exactly it.
No, that's not it at all.
The water was off. Oh yeah, is the water off? The water, isn't the water turned off at night? Well, I mean, isn't the real reason...
The Monokuma file, Sayaka's time of death was around 1:30 a.m.
Well, the real reason is because who in the fuck is gonna wash their hands when they're actively being... Like, there's a murder attempt on them, you know? Doesn't make any sense.
In other words, at nighttime. And the water in the bathroom shuts off at nighttime, right?
Oh, I didn't know that. Actually, I haven't taken a shower here yet.
Uh-oh, stinky.
Oh my.
You're no different. You smell like a big, fat, ugly donkey.
I'm not sure whether to take that as an insult or a compliment.
What?
An insult, obviously. So anyway, if Sayaka never touched the sword, then that means the killer is the only one who used the sword. But hold on. If that's right, then the one who damaged the sheath with the kitchen knife was...
Yeah, it would have had to have been Sayaka.
I got it!
She's a big old evil
She had the
mastermind.
kitchen knife?
By evil mastermind, she's obviously not very good at it because she's dead, dude.
But we already said that the attack started with...
The person with the knife attacked first, and the sword was used as an impromptu defense.
Then the one who attacked first was...
Sayaka?
Now do you understand? She wasn't a blameless victim in this.
I mean, that makes sense. Set her up as like the sympathetic character who's all nice to the main character, but then it's like actually like, oh, she's, you know, the first person who attempted to murder someone.
No, far from it. It's almost as if she'd been planning to commit a murder of her own.
You're off this time. You get off easy this time, Tsugami, but my eye is still on you.
She took the knife from the kitchen, then invited the culprit to the room she was staying in. And if it's true that she had the kitchen knife and attacked without provocation...
No, like, she would have invited someone that she probably felt like she could kill. So, like...
Indeed. These are all the actions of an assailant.
I just feel like if it's a self-defense thing, right? Like, you shouldn't have to prove you didn't do it. I don't know, it just seems weird.
Which brings up another point. Makoto, Sayaka was the one who suggested you two switch rooms, correct? Maybe the reason she wanted to switch rooms was so that she could pin the crime on you. That is a possibility, is it not?
Yeah, I said that, like, I don't know, maybe in the last video, early this video, Celeste. Keep up the pace, you know? Pay attention.
Sayaka wanted to... on me?
That would also explain why she would switch the nameplates. She wanted to get whoever she had targeted to come to Makoto's room where she was staying. And by committing the murder there, instead of her room, that would implicate Makoto.
Only if you're all dumbasses, because that's the stupid... Who murders someone in their own room? It just doesn't make any sense.
But for that to work, the target had to be lured out while still keeping the room swap a secret.
It would be like murdering someone and then writing on the walls, Leon did it, which is, you know, kind of what happens.
If the target knew she had switched rooms, they would have become suspicious right away.
Like, it would just be very obvious that that's, like, not something the killer would have done.
So all that's why she switched the names?
Because it makes them look hella sus.
But doesn't that plan seem a little risky? For one thing, even if her plan worked, Mr. Naegi would just tell everyone they'd switched rooms.
But you guys wouldn't believe us, just like how you didn't believe that we didn't kill her?
I don't know. I'm not sure our soft-hearted Makoto is capable of that kind of cutthroat behavior.
Well, you know, we're gonna make it to the end of this game, and you may not, so shut up.
I'm sure Sayaka realized the same thing, which is why out of all of us, she asked him to switch rooms.
Plus, she was the ultimate pop sensation. A totally forgettable kid. Or a national superstar. Who are you more likely to believe?
Oh yeah, we would have been fucked.
Wait, then...
Like, that part of her plan is great.
This all planned out?
Like, blaming Makoto, who, like, nobody likes, and...
Holy shit!
But in the end, her plan backfired. She launched her attack with the knife, then found herself under attack in turn.
So it's like, we have to think of, like, who she would have invited in the first place. Like, someone she probably felt she could easily kill.
That must be when her wrist got broken, and she was forced to drop the knife.
The tables were suddenly turned on her, and she died at the hands of the one she'd planned to murder.
Just hold on! That can't be true! Because...
Hey! You guys have totally derailed the argument! You're being super boring right now. Come on, hurry up and decide who did it!
And we still haven't addressed the numbers or, you know, Leon's name at all.
Wouldn't it be awful if I had to punish you all just because you ran out of time?
Oh yeah, we gotta decide who we think did it.
And we still haven't used the incinerator evidence at all.
Makoto, right now you just need to concentrate on figuring out the answer to this mystery. If we can't uncover who murdered Sayaka, it's over for all of us.
I mean, technically no one murdered her. Murder is not self-defense, typically, you know. Obviously, I'm committed to finding out who killed her, but what can I do? I mean, as far as clues go, nothing left. We do be spinning. Crash duty, always account, dying message. So the dying message is pretty important.
Just to say, hey, decide who did.
So we'll just sit back and let it go through one time.
More clues, right?
There's no more clues. The dying message is
Very
definitely
well.
a clue.
Then let's review all the clues we found.
I think
up
it's
to this
probably
point
dying
one more
message on
time.
that very first line, but we'll let it play
We
out.
have time for all that.
We got 5 minutes, so we don't need to rush as much as I think I do.
If we don't do something, we're all gonna die!
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
easy just to say, hey, decide who did it. But there just aren't any more clues,
Get
right?
blasted.
No, that's wrong. There still might be one clue left. Sayaka's dying message.
Dining? Wait, what did you say?
Well, also, we don't know if it's actually her dying message. I still just feel like writing it behind yourself with one finger like that while you're bleeding, like, to only get a tiny amount, like, I feel like if you're bleeding out, you're not really going to be worried about, like, how much blood gets on your hand, you know?
The dying message. She wrote something on the wall behind her,
Like-
remember?
Like, who's going to take the time and care to only get a tiny little dollop of blood on one finger while you're writing your message?
11037. Written in her own blood. There must be a clue about the killer hidden in there.
Well, before we get too far into that, I need to ask, can we really be sure that Sayaka is
Yeah,
the one who
that's
wrote
kind
it?
of like my main concern this whole time, is that we don't know that she wrote it. The index finger, I guess? But, I mean, that still doesn't prove anything.
Her left index finger had blood on it. That could only be because she used that finger to write the message.
I mean, it's very possible you could just pick up her hand and use it.
I see. She broke her right wrist during the fight, so she'd have to use her left hand to write.
Sure. I think we can all agree Sayaka wrote it. But still,
I mean, we'll drop it, but technically, no, that's not iron-proof evidence or anything.
what the heck do those numbers mean?
It means Leon.
11037?
Hey, Chihiro. You're a computer nerd or whatever, right? You should know all about numbers and shit.
No, that's not... Yes, I'm a programmer, but I don't see any kind of meaning in these numbers.
Of course. It's because they're not numbers.
Oh, yeah, it looks like...
Huh? What? What?
No, it's just... look at the numbers, assuming they're not numbers.
Been there, done that. I figured that shit out pretty quick. I mean, granted, that was partially just because there's a very similar thing that happens in Virtue's Last Reward, which I've played very recently.
Don't these first two, 1-1, look less like two numbers and more like one letter?
Ah, you're right. The connecting line is barely there, so I assumed it was 1-1, but looking at it now, you could also read it as an N.
Whoa. You might have finally just said something worth a shit.
Our little gray cells are really getting excited now.
Please never say that again.
But even if that really is an N, N037, doesn't make any more sense than before.
Damn it, it's no use. I just don't know.
Rotate the image 180 degrees.
Rotate it. I think maybe I see something.
Oh my god. Now I see. She wrote down the killer's name.
Huh?
Uh,
Shot past the clue part and right onto who did it.
So, whose name did she write?
once again, I mean, we can't really be assured that. I mean, select someone. Well, it's not us. How do I? Where's our boy? He's not really. Oh my god, where are you, dude? There, get blasted.
Here's my answer.
I mean, it just seems
The
so.
key to solving this mystery was simply to rotate the writing 180 degrees.
It just seems too easy.
If you turn the message around, it becomes the letters L-E-O-N. L-E-O-N. Or more accurately, Leon.
What the hell are you talking about? It's just a coincidence. It's just a bunch of random squiggles that happen to look like my name.
No, it's not random at all. She wrote that message on the wall behind her as she was leaning up against it. In that position, she couldn't move to write normally, and had to write upside down, as it were. And as a result,
I mean, there was a glass wall, like, right next to her. Like, it would have been much easier to write it like that, but whatever.
When you look at it standing in front of her, it ends up getting flipped. Try it for yourself if you want. Write something sitting like her, and the letters will be inverted.
That sounds like one hell of a stretch to me. I'm the killer? You can't just go and say shit like that.
If you're not the killer, then why did you try to destroy the evidence?
He does wear the same type of shirt as we found.
Huh?
With the white cuffs.
You know what I'm talking about, right, Makoto? The evidence Leon tried to get rid of?
It was, the cufflinks.
I got it! You mean the burnt shirt piece I found laying on the ground by the incinerator, right?
Well, now the question is, like, how did he get in there and
As the
everything?
killer stabbed Sayaka, they must have gotten some of her blood on them. And to dispose of the shirt covered in the victim's blood, they threw it into the incinerator.
But one piece burned off and got left behind.
And the killer didn't notice. If they had, they most certainly would have panicked. Isn't that right, Leon?
Now, how does this tie into the crystal ball? That's another thing that we still haven't addressed.
But is one scrap of fabric enough to conclude that Leon is guilty?
Yeah, I mean, Leon's not the only one wearing a white button-up.
Very true.
That's right. There are plenty of other people here with shirts like mine. With just that one little charred piece, there's no way you can say for sure who it belongs to.
You're right. That alone isn't enough. But there are some other points that may reveal the truth.
Are you finally starting to understand? The answers to all the riddles are right here.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, the burnt remains of the button-up shirt which the killer wasn't able to get rid of. Something about it we need to pay attention to. How it was disposed of, where it was disposed of, when. I mean, I feel like how. It's how or where, because it has to do with, like, how do they get to the incinerator, right? If it's locked off. So how?
I got it! If we look closely at how the shirt was disposed of, we should be able to figure out who the killer is.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I think I know what you're gonna say. You can't reach the incinerator without opening the gate in front of the trash room, right? And obviously, you wouldn't be able to hit the switch to turn it on either.
Unless you, or maybe a baseball star with a crystal ball or something. But I mean, like, that still doesn't make, I mean, that's kind of the first thing I kind of thought of. Like, when, just a few seconds ago, was that he, like, threw the, like, how do you get the thing through the gate, you know?
You need the key to get in, and the one with the key was the person on cleaning duty.
I don't know, I just kind of, like, have this image of him eating the crystal ball to turn on the incinerator from a distance, but, like, how do you, there's still the gate in front of it, so.
So the killer had to be whoever was in charge of taking care of the trash, right?
Interesting.
That's wrong. There was another way to use the incinerator without the one being on... Was there? I mean, it definitely has to do with the crystal ball. Like, that's gonna be our answer.
The key to the trash room. Whoever was on cleaning duty must have had it, right?
Uh-huh.
So the only one who could get to the incinerator was the person in charge of the trash?
Uh-huh.
And you'd have to get close to the incinerator.
Get blasted, nerd.
No, that's wrong.
But once again, the gate doesn't have gaps to throw anything through it, but whatever.
Hold on. I think I know how someone could dispose of the evidence without using the trash room key.
But if you can't get past the gate, you couldn't possibly turn on the incinerator, could you?
And even if you could throw the ball through the gate, how are you getting the shirt into the incinerator?
Yes, you could. If you used this.
What is it, some kind of glass ball? It's busted to hell.
Actually, it was supposed to be a crystal ball, but,
But how would you use it?
Throw it.
I got it! The killer simply took aim at the incinerator switch and threw the ball through a gap in the gate.
Well, see, like, my problem with this is that the gate that they showed us has no gaps in it. Or, like, it has little tiny gaps, but they're very tiny. Like, you're not enough that you could fit a ball through it. And plus, how do you get the shirt through it?
All they had to do was hit that switch, and the incinerator would come to life.
Someone through a gap in the gate?
Remember what you said before, Hifumi?
Someone turned the incinerator on. Very strange. I'm quite certain it was off last time I was down here. Perhaps it was the work of a fairy.
Hifumi had the key. So the only way the incinerator could have been turned on without his knowledge was because the killer was able to hit the switch without opening the gate. Once they got in the incinerator going, all they had to do was ball up the shirt and toss it in.
Hey, come on! What the hell is this?
All you have to do is look at the scene to know that the killer never actually went inside the trash room. The shards of broken glass, the incinerator left running, the piece of shirt that escaped the fire.
Yeah, because, I mean, they wouldn't have, like, yeah, if it got burnt off and left on the floor, there's no way they could have gotten to it to replace it.
If the killer had been on cleaning duty, the evidence would have been taken care of much more thoroughly.
That makes sense.
Wait, no, just hold on.
But the distance from the gate to the incinerator has to be at least 30 feet.
Yeah, you'd have to be real experienced throwing balls to be able to do that, eh?
The pinpoint accuracy you'd need to throw a glass ball that far and hit something that small. Could someone really do that?
That's right. There's no way. It'd be impossible.
Difficult, absolutely. Impossible? I don't think so. Because the killer is...
The ultimate baseball star. The ultimate baseball star.
Because the killer is the ultimate baseball star. Isn't that right, Leon?
Do you have any idea how stupid you sound right now?
A target 30 feet away would surely be little challenge for the ultimate baseball star.
You can't be serious. I'm not the killer! These goddamn shipper brains have got it all wrong, I'm telling you!
You still won't admit it? Okay then. Makoto, go ahead and review the incident one more time
I mean,
to make his crime
I still
perfectly
kind of
clear.
feel like he didn't murder anyone, though. If Sayaka tried to attack him first.
And with that, we can end this.
Listen to me! What the hell do you mean, end this?
Say what you want, Leon. But all the questions have been answered. And the truth has been revealed. Now here's what happened.
The closing argument, absolutely. Every case is one last element to bring the class trial to an end. This is the closing argument. We'll give a complete summary of the case. You'll have to reproduce the flow of events for the case in the form of a comic book. Oh god. You'll notice that in the comic there are a number of pieces missing. You gotta complete the comic using truth panels. Take aim at a missing section, press the left mouse button. Holy cow! You'll get a hint that might lead to a breakthrough. Okay. Are we timed on this? Or okay. So here we go. So we got so I guess it starts over here. So we got you. You're coming in the room, and she tries to stab him, and then there's like, oh my god, there's a freaking katana, dude, and she's stabbing, but then it gets blocked by the katana. What? I feel like these don't fit. Oh yeah, we have more stuff. Okay. So then we got doorknob. Wait, no. She gets blasted. Oh, okay. There's stuff over here as well. All right. So we're missing some stuff. All right. So this seems correct. This seems correct. Instead, we got that. And then he's coming back. He's swinging. Oh, wait. Yeah. Then this. Then she's running away. He's got the knife. He notices that, he can't open that shit. And then hits him with a screwdriver. Yeah. Just murders the shit out of her. Then we got lint roller. Got baseball. We're missing a few things. But we've got most of it into place. Now, do we not use all of these? We have baseball. Or crystal ball. But, like, where do we put this? I mean, this is already used in there, so, I mean, I'm guessing we don't use that. And this, maybe it's that right there. So the only thing we haven't used is screwdriver. And we use, this has already been used, so I'm thinking this is screwdriver here. I feel pretty good about this. So opens, gets attacked, notices the katana. I feel
exactly
good.
what happened.
Let's try it.
I think I'd better take one more look back at the case from the beginning.
Okay.
Last night, the killer went to the room Sayaka was in. In other words, my room. From what we can tell, Sayaka invited that person there intending to kill them. She attacked them with the knife she'd taken from the kitchen earlier.
I like the music. Okay, so we got that right. Got that right.
But then something happened that she wasn't prepared for. They grabbed the fake sword I put in my room and fought back.
I mean, it's like, I feel like there's a better target to choose than Leon for murder. Like, really, you would have been better off just killing Makoto.
A strike from the sword broke Sayaka's right wrist.
Because, I mean, if you're framing us for the murder, then Makoto's gonna die anyway, so there's no reason you shouldn't just go ahead and kill them. Like, you've already resolved to murder them.
And that's when she lost her grip on the kitchen knife. Finding herself cornered, Sayaka panicked and ran into the bathroom. The killer went after her, but couldn't get the bathroom door open. What they didn't know was that my bathroom door got stuck easily, and there was a trick to opening it. Sayaka knew about that because I told her, but of course the killer had no way of knowing. So instead, the killer forced the door open, took the kitchen knife,
Yeah, he's gonna stab.
and stabbed Sayaka.
It's looking like we got everything right.
With what strength she had remaining, Sayaka left a dying message. To keep the killer from noticing, she wrote it on the wall behind her.
Oh, okay, that kind of explains it, I guess. Why she wouldn't have wrote it more obviously.
And with that, all her strength was gone.
Yeah, because I guess he could have just stayed. Like, I guess I kind of assumed that, you know, the killer stabbed and then ran away. But I guess he could have just waited there, waiting for her to die.
With Sayaka dead, the killer quickly began destroying the evidence. First, they took off their shirt, which was covered in their victim's blood.
Once again, she's not a victim.
Then they took the lint roller in my room and cleaned up the entire area. They wanted to make sure they got rid of any trace they'd ever been there. Afterwards,
Okay, see, that door, the gaps were not that big in the art we were shown.
bloody shirt.
But, whatever.
They tried to burn the shirt using the incinerator there.
Or maybe I could just be misremembering it now. Because, I mean, it has been several days. That's kind of one of the things when you're, like, playing the game over, like, instead of just playing it back-to-back like I would normally be doing, you kind of forget little details. But I could have sworn the gate looked different.
But the trash room was blocked off by an especially sturdy gate, preventing access to the incinerator. So they came up with a plan to use Hiro's crystal ball, which he'd left in the laundry room. The killer managed to throw the ball through the gap in the gate. And for any normal person, That'd be an impossible throw. But the killer had the confidence to take a shot. And that's because the killer was the ultimate baseball star. The crystal ball, thrown with absolute precision, hit the switch on the incinerator, which then quickly roared to life.
We've done
The
it.
final piece of evidence, they left the area with, I imagine, a sigh of relief. But there was one thing they missed.
I feel like the harder thing would be throwing the shirt. Because, I mean, if you're ever throwing a shirt, it doesn't really go that far.
Part of the shirt they'd thrown into the fire burnt away and fell out of the incinerator. The killer didn't notice this, and so left behind a piece of indisputable evidence.
You have been sent to the Shadow Realm, sir.
Isn't that right, Leon?
You've been baboomed.
It would appear that Hiro simply forgot his crystal ball in the laundry room. You went there to try and wash the blood out of your shirt. And that's where you saw it, right? Seeing the ball? You thought of a way to take care of everything.
So, Leon, do you object to anything that's been said?
I assume all of it.
Do I object? Hell yes, I object! Of course I do! I object! I object! I object!
I actually have to say objection.
I mean, all of this is just a bunch of stupid theories. You need evidence. Where's the evidence? Without evidence, it's all bullshit. It's bullshit, and I refuse to acknowledge it.
It doesn't really matter. It's mob rule here, though. If we can all decide that you're guilty, you just get executed.
Well then, I guess this is as good a time as any to present the evidence that proves you did it. Makoto, I believe you're in possession of that evidence?
Yeah, of course. That evidence. I totally know what you're talking about. I have the evidence? Your first bullet time battle, oh god, is about to begin. Sure. Oh my, what? Sometimes during a clash trial, your opponent will simply won't want to hear what you have to say. When this happens, you should shoot them in the fucking face. You will engage in a head-to-head battle. This is a bullet time battle, aka the BTW, BTB, BTW. Okay? You want to destroy your opponent's statements in time with the rhythm. Oh god, what? What? Match your button presses with each tempo marker as they move across the screen and reach the center. I was not expecting this to be in the game, but okay. Press the right mouse button to lock onto an opponent's statement. Okay. And then you just time it. You gotta destroy the statements one by one. Is that what we're saying? And you deal damage to your opponent. If you can't pull it off, you'll be the one in pain. Do this consecutively, and you'll start a combo. I'm not very good at rhythm games, and by not very good, I'm absolutely atrocious. If you keep missing, you'll get into a tempo down situation. When the tempo changes, so does the timing for hitting each button, so watch out for that. Okay, eventually deal damage, and their weak spot statement will appear. And then I assume we hit it for massive damage. Okay. Your influence gauge reaches 0, you die, okay.
When the killer broke the bathroom doorknob, they didn't use anything from your room to do it. So what did the killer use?
What did the killer use to take apart the
I
doorknob?
refuse to acknowledge you. You're stupid. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Stupid, 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 stupid.
Uh-huh. I have to show indisputable evidence that Leon is the killer. I need to figure it out. Oh god. Well, I'm a little worried about any type of rhythm stuff.
Where's your proof?
Okay.
You kidding me? Not a chance. It wasn't me.
I can't click on anything?
Stupid. You lied. Stop talking.
Like, how do I don't have a fucking mouse
Where's your
button.
proof?
Oh, okay, I see what you have to do.
You kidding me? Not a chance.
I didn't realize you had to,
You lied.
I am.
Where's your proof? You kidding me? Not a chance.
We're not doing good here.
Stupid.
Oh, so you can lock on multiple things at a time. That makes more sense.
Shut up. Where's your proof?
Okay, I've got it now.
Not a chance. You lie. Where's your proof?
Hit him with the toolkit. What? So the thing that was confusing me there is I didn't realize how you had to like right click. You had to right click in time with the tempo thing. You couldn't just hit right click at any time to lock onto the argument.
I wonder what kind of tool the killer used to remove them.
I mean, it had to be a screwdriver, right?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure the toolkits we got each had one inside.
And that must be what he used. There aren't any other tools anywhere.
But the toolkit in my room had clearly never been used.
That's because the culprit didn't know it was your room. They thought they were in Sayaka's room.
Only the boys got toolkits, so the killer naturally assumed there wouldn't be one in there.
So they brought one with them.
Okay, then whose toolkit did the killer use?
Stupid, stupid, stupid!
It had to be their very own toolkit.
So maybe they did come over there with the intention of killing her then?
Stupid, 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 stupid!
Leon, would you mind showing us your toolkit? If I'm right about this, then
Unless he just carried it around him?
screwdriver will show some evidence of being used.
Like, why would you just carry your toolkit around with you?
Stupid, stupid, stupid!
Huh? And if you say you used it for something else, you'll have to explain exactly when, where, and why.
And let me say this right now. I lost it isn't an excuse at this point.
Yeah, but you see, I really did lose it.
Stupid. Stupid.
Okay, he's actually been sent to the Shadow Realm. And he's been mind fucked.
So, you have no rebuttal?
Then it would seem we are finished here.
We've done it. An A? I don't deserve that. Not even close. 82 medals? What the fuck? That's a lot, dude.
Looks like you've reached your verdict. Then are we ready to cast our votes?
I would like to save the game. How do I save this game?
Oh,
God.
just to remind you all.
What button is it on the keyboard? I've got no clue.
Make triple sure you vote.
I'm not meaning to skip through this. I'm just trying to understand how the controls work. No, can you not go into the menu right now? No, you can. I'm sorry. I apologize. Is it Q? Is that what you hit on the keyboard? No? Is it E?
Okay,
No?
then let's get excited.
I'm not meaning to skip through this. I'm trying to end the video, which is what we're gonna do now. I just don't know what key it is on the keyboard to open the thing. I hit all the usual suspects. I hit escape, tab, shift, Q, E, enter, shift. None of those buttons do anything because of reasons. But yeah, we'll wrap up the trial in the next video. I'm Extra Cheesy 87. Stay tuned for the next part, and bye, guys.